everyone, it's Maddie. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm just going to be kind of comparing the Dexcom G6 receiver versus the phone, kind of what can kind of happen with each, and what I choose to do as far as using both, using one, using the other, or which method I prefer the best. So, first of all, if you buy the Dexcom G6, most of the time you will come with the receiver in the initial startup kit, whether or not you have the smart device. But if you do not get the receiver, or do not want the receiver, you can access all your blood sugar readings right from your phone on an app called Dexcom G6. And all of this information gets linked to Clarity. Clarity is the app that your doctor and you use to make treatment decisions with your Dexcom, and it gives you maybe ideas of patterns that may have been happening, if you're having highs, if you're having a lot of lows, gives you an average blood sugars over like 7 days, 14 days, 30 days, 90 days, and it gives you your risk of hypoglycemia and your standard deviation and all that fun stuff. So both of these obviously work just fine as far as like receiving the data, but there are some key differences. So if you are going to primarily use the receiver and your doctor wants to frequently access Clarity, you're going to have to download the information from this receiver at your doctor's office or on your computer to frequently view the Clarity readings. Whereas if you use the smartphone in conjunction with the receiver or just the smartphone, you have a Clarity app, or you can log online to Clarity, and at any time you can view any of your blood glucose reading information. So if you have a smartphone or the newest Dexcom receiver, it is a touchscreen. It's very, very easy to do things. It's very easy to just click on it and do what you need to do. You have to unlock it like a phone, and then you can access all your settings. Although I find that the touchscreen on the receiver is a little more touchy, and it just doesn't, sometimes if you hit it, even if you hit it like with your flat part of your finger, it just doesn't respond quite as nice. Now, both of these are able to have customizable alerts, and you're able to pick if you want it to vibrate, if you want to have a certain alarm or alert for a high or low, etc., etc. And if you have access to both, you can use either one for a backup method. I primarily use my phone, but it is nice to have the receiver as a backup method if my phone were to die or if something else were to happen. The receiver, obviously, as you can tell, is a smaller display than probably most smartphones. It can fit in the palm of my hand, and if any of you are iPhone users like me, if you have any of the plus size model iPhones, you know those can be fairly large, but even the smaller iPhones or non-iPhones or the Androids are probably going to be way bigger than the receiver. So this one would probably be easier to carry around in a purse, much less your phone, although because this is a separated device from your phone, where your phone, you're probably going to have a lot of your information stored on it and have everything accessible at your fingertips. It's probably kind of inconvenient to carry it around. And another thing is, too, that the receiver, I feel like, would be easier to lose. I feel like I've misplaced this receiver tons of times, and I feel like I'm less likely to misplace my phone, although if you do have a Apple Watch and an Apple phone like me, you know you can actually swipe up and ping your phone if you lose your phone. So I'm kind of thankful to have an Apple Watch now. I hardly lose my phone. There is also the Find iPhone feature too that can help with that. Another thing I forgot to mention is that if you have a compatible phone, you are able to have a compatible smartwatch. If you're an Android user, you can have an Android watch. And if you're like me, having an Apple phone, I do have an Apple Watch, which is charging right now. But you can wear that on your wrist, and you can see your blood sugars by flipping your wrist, which again is another convenient thing for a school or a work setting where they might not want you on your phone, or on something that really can access like Safari or something like that, where you can literally just flip and see what it is and go back to what you're doing. But as far as the battery life on this, I would say the battery life is better on the receiver than the phone. I feel like my phone battery drains more ever since having to have Dexcom, because you have to have the app open in the background in order for it to be working. Whereas with the receiver, you can just hit the button in the center and it will turn on and give you a glucose reading. And when you don't want to see it anymore, or don't want to see any more information, all you literally have to do is push the button, or you wait and it'll turn off on its own. So I feel like it helps with the battery time. And the final thing I can really think of, the difference between these two things, is the restarts and resets. You can use a method that involves, if you have both the receiver and the phone, you can use the method that you saw on last Sunday's video, Katie DeSimon's method on how to restart your G6 sensors while allowing yourself to get continuous glucose readings. But if you only have one of each, one or the other, you can still reset, but it is a little bit easier, but you don't get the readings off of it. Not too bad, but at least you're able to do resets with either one that you want. But if you want to be able to reprogram the internal clock on the transmitter, you need to have access to a phone for that, or a computer that's designated to be able to basically reset the internal clock on the transmitter so that you can get more than 90 days wear out of the transmitter. The transmitter is the part that sits inside the sensor that communicates with your phone and or your receiver to send your glucose readings and update them every 5 minutes. So if you have one or the other, it's good, but I feel like if you have both, you have more options as far as restarting sensors, flexibility of which one you want to use for the day, or more convenient if you're in an area where they don't want you having cell phones. For example, if I go to college, they might only want me to have the receiver on my desk if I'm taking a test, because obviously they don't want anything accessible to the internet. But if you explain to them that you have a receiver, that the only thing that this can do is pick up glucose readings, and that you need to monitor your glucose at any point if you question what your glucose is during a test or some sort of important school function or whatever the case may be, you're in work, this would be a convenient thing. This did come with a charger and a adapter for plug into the wall, so it's not like you're going to go without that either. So if you can, I would say your best option is to use both. I still prefer the phone just because it's easier to keep everything in contact. The display and the alerts are bigger on the phone, and obviously like on the receiver everything's kind of tiny, and it's real hard. Like on the receiver you have to like swipe several times to get like, you know, more of the 24-hour graph, to get more of a 12-hour graph or whatever the case may be, whereas with your phone, all you have to do is tip it or touch a button and it'll display everything at your fingertips just for you. So as far as being able to read things more clearly, the phone obviously does a much better job. But like I said before, it is a good idea to have both just in case something were to happen, or like I said, you get in a setting where they only want you to have access to this thing instead of having your phone, so it doesn't look like you're on your phone or not following rules for your company or for your school or your college or whatever the case may be. I think I mentioned everything about the receiver, about the phone. If I missed anything, I'm sorry, but there are probably other videos that give you better ideas about what to do. If there's anything I missed, feel free to comment down below. And this is more specifically if you have the newer Dexcom receiver. I believe if you're a G6 user or a G5 user, you can get this newer receiver. I know the older receivers had buttons that you had to scroll through to calibrate, but everything is touchscreen now, so it makes everything fairly simple and easy to access and easy to complete tasks that you need to be done. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. Feel free to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. We are closing in on 100 subscribers, and at that point, I will be sharing with you my diagnosis story. And until tomorrow for more videos, take care, God bless, be kind, spread positivity, and be thankful. Bye, everyone.